Welcome to the Experience Honest Podcast, episode number 46. This episode is the ultimate guide to marriage, love, happiness, and abundance. In this episode, I share with you all you need to know about marriage and how to find love, happiness, and abundance in marriage. Life is full of experiences and it's good you learn from the experience of others. I'm Paul Uduk. My students call me the coach. You can call me Mr. Unstoppable. I'm the creator of Bull Writing Clinic and Bull Writers Club and IBMC, where I show friends like you how to convert ideas into intellectual properties, build an empire, and succeed at scale. Yes, I'm also the creator of Okna, a Facebook group, online course community for newbies and advanced beginners with over 13,500 members from all over the world. These are some of the things we are going to cover in this episode. We're going to have an overview of marriage, the top reasons people get married, the top right reasons people get married, reasons people fall in love, why do people fall out of love and head for divorce? Reasons for divorce, why men cheat and why women cheat. The countries with the highest divorce rates, impact of divorce on children, untying the knots, why do weddings cost so much, how to achieve success, enjoy happiness and abundance in marriage, what you need to do right now, and recommended books on marriage is a huge episode. Let's dive in. Overview. If you asked me, I'd say marriage is the most revered institution on planet Earth. Ask any woman her happiest day ever, and she will tell you it was her wedding day. Ask any girl what will make her happy, and she will tell you the day she gets married. When Sir Winston Churchill described Russia as a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma, he may as well have been talking about marriage. Weddings all over the world are always the most well-attended events. Family members, friends, associates, even uninvited guests or strangers attend weddings to witness the birth of a new family and give their blessings. High society weddings are in a special class of their own. When the then Prince Charles, Prince of Wales, married the late Princess of Wales, Diana, in a union made in heaven on 29th July 1981, the world virtually came to a standstill. All women go out of their way to look their best on their wedding day. They adorn the whitest of whites, specially made dress designated all over the world as a wedding gown. Why not call it a wedding dress, or a wedding attire, or a wedding cloth? A wedding gown epitomizes purity and the solemnity of marriage. Even in those cultures where the woman marries the man, like Polynesia, the man wears a specially made wedding gown. Society ascribes high importance to marriage. Indeed, for you to be regarded a man, you must have married a woman. To be single at the age of 40 is to be irresponsible. Remain single at the age of 50. Society will regard you as weird. So men go out their way to prove their manness by working super hard to accumulate enough fortune to get married. Why is marriage such a favored institution? For Christians, marriage is decreed by God. For a man shall leave her parents and cleave to for a woman shall leave her parents and cleave to her husband, and the two shall become one. Ardent Christians will quickly point to the wedding at Canaan and say, see, Jesus attended and performed his first miracle by turning water into wine. And so it's apt I first created this episode as a blog post on Easter Sunday, when a third of the world, according to the BBC, was on lockdown and families came together again. What a glorious time for society, families, married men and women. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to achieve a highly successful marriage, happiness and abundance. What's my qualification? As Bob Marley and the Wailers sang, he who feels it knows it. Yes, because I've been married for 40 years to the same woman. I feel it, I know it, so that's my qualification. The top 10 reasons people get married. People all through the ages have devised diverse reasons why they should get married and stay married. One of the most dramatic episodes of loyalty in a marriage is recounted in the Christian Bible concerning Ruth. She clung to her mother-in-law, Naomi, after the death of her husband, when she uttered these immortal words: where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die. There I will be buried. Ruth accompanied Naomi to Bethlehem and later married Boaz, a distant relative of her late father-in-law. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, she is a symbol of abiding loyalty and devotion. The top 10 reasons people get married, according to Tara Eisenhardt of divorcedmoms.com, writing for the Huffington Post. The top reasons people get married include the next logical step. Once upon a time, they were in love. Desire to grow up. He'd make a good husband or wife. Fear of staying single. Wishful thinking. Security. A baby is on the way. Pressure from society. The clock is ticking. If you ask me, I would add one other top reason: greed. The top right reasons people get married: 1, they love each other. 2, they share the same values and goals. 3, want to spend their lives together. On the other hand, the top wrong reason for a woman to get married is you got pregnant. I believe the same is true for the man. My girlfriend got pregnant, therefore I must marry her. While marriage is the end game, there are obviously steps along the way to arrive at the decision to get married. The universally accepted reason in the long winding road to getting married is love between the would-be couple. In Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare shows the tragic length lovers can go to demonstrate their undying affection for each other. In Greek mythology, Helen of Troy, the most beautiful woman of Greece and of the world, was abducted by Prince Paris of Troy, precipitating dictating the Trojan War, which lasted 10 years. So love is supposed to be the most potent reason people marry. So the logical question is, how do people fall in love? Reasons people fall in love. According to upjourney.com, while falling and being in love with someone makes us feel warm and fuzzy, it also has its downsides. If so, why do people still fall in love? Here are the top seven reasons preferred by experts why people fall in love. Number one, the key factor to falling in love is compatibility. Two, you have gotten to know them well. Three, they complement your personality. Four, because their flaws don't matter anymore. Five, we fall in love with the enigma and solution of ourselves. Six, people fall in love because they love each other's company. Five, humans are wired to look for a connection. Why do people fall out of love and head for divorce? Given the celebrations, pomp, and pageantry, the honeymoons, and the near ecstasy that follow every marriage, even arranged marriages in places like India, Sri Lanka, and most Arab countries, you would believe that every marriage is made in heaven. But is it? From the ballooning divorce rates all over the world, the marriage institution is in dire trouble. People fall out of love because they no longer love each other. Isn't that a pretty nasty tautology? Reasons for divorce. One of the most celebrated falling apart in modern history was the bitter ending between Prince, now King Charles, and Diana, leading, some say, to the untimely death of the People's Princess after 15 years of tumultuous marriage. The most shocking divorce of all time was the heart-rending divorce of Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela. No judgments. For Hina Khan, a writer at worldbless.in, some of the leading causes of divorce include anger, frustration, loss of belief, anxiety, misbehavior, financial crisis, and fake love. According to recordsfinder.com, the top reasons for divorce are: one or both people cheated, money problems, constant bickering, unhappy, abuse, communications issues. One partner changed or didn't change enough, no longer in love or attracted to each other. Lives were moving in different directions. One person had to do all the work. According to the same recordsfinder.com, the odds that you will get divorced increase significantly if you or this happens. One, smoking. Two, one person does all the chores. Three, have financial problems. Four, have been married before. Five, you have poor communication. Six, met in a bar. Seven, there is abuse. Eight, one or both people cheat. Nine, all your friends are divorced. 10, one of you is a dancer, a bartender, or a massage therapist. Though not highlighted as a top cause of divorce, in Hina Khan's list. Infidelity looms large in the two lists by recordsfinder.com. Whatever name you call it, whether you call it cheating, infidelity, adultery, extramarital affairs, is the major cause of divorce. Current studies of American couples indicate that 20 to 40% of heterosexual married men and 20 to 25% of heterosexual married women will have an extramarital affair during their lifetime. Writing in ideas.ted.com, ideas.ted.com, under the title 10 Facts About Infidelity, a guest author quotes a biological anthropologist, Helen Fisher, that love isn't so much an emotion as it is a brain system, one of three that's related to mating and reproduction. It's those other two systems that explain why human beings are capable of infidelity, even as we so highly value love. Why men cheat versus why women cheat. According to divorcemark.com, nearly 57% of men and 54% of women will commit adultery at some point during their marriage. According to the writer Sheila Black, here are the motivations behind the drive for cheating. First, why men cheat: emotional neglect, feeling attractive and wanted. Third, sex. Why women cheat: emotional neglect. 2, sex. 3, because he cheated on me. In a recent major news headline reported on Linda Ikeji's blog and The Punch, a newspaper based in Nigeria, a 38-year-old man stabbed his suspected wife's lover to death with a scissors. According to the story, the culprit claimed he'd warned the deceased severally to steer clear of his wife. The deceased was stabbed 38 times in the chest, neck, and eyes, and died on the way to the hospital. The homicide units of Ogun State Police Command in Abeokuta, southwest Nigeria, confirmed the story and stated that investigation had begun. The suspect was a petty trader, so also was the deceased. So, cheating occurs among both the poor and the wealthy. In all, personal life factors account for the high divorce rates. According to FocusOnTheFamily.com, the major personal life factors include cohabitors in general have 50 to 80% higher likelihood of divorce after marriage than non-cohabitors. The general divorce rate for African Americans is 1.5 times higher than for whites. Only 36% of college graduates who marry will ever divorce. Those who marry after age 18 have a reduced divorce rate of 24%. Coming from an intact family reduces divorce rate by 14%. Having an overall annual household income of $50,000 means a 30% lower divorce rate. those with a strong common faith have 35% lower risk of divorce. Couples who attend church weekly are 47% less likely to divorce. Divorce rates among nominal Christians are equal to the general population. Having one's first child after marriage reduces divorce risk by a range of 24 to 26%. A marriage where only one partner smokes regularly increases their divorce risk by upwards of 75%. Marrying as non-virgins is associated with considerably higher risk of divorce and dramatically more unstable first marriages. Marriage in which the wife wants children but the husband does not face a 50% higher risk of divorce. Marriages with a significant age difference between the partners, particularly younger husband or much older husband, have nearly a 50% greater likelihood of divorce than those of similar ages. During a recession, divorce rates drop. It's cheaper just to stay together or separate long term. It's clearly necessary for would-be couples to study these factors before they decide to tie the knots. If your love is not so strong that you are willing to pay the supreme price like Romeo and Juliet, don't do it. If your love is not so strong that you are willing to abdicate your throne as King Edward VIII did in order to marry his heartthrob Wallis Simpson, don't do it. The countries with the highest divorce rates. There are several measures of divorce rates. According to focusonthefamily.com, the 4 common measures are cohort measure rates, crude divorce rates, refined divorce rates, and percent divorce, percent ever divorced. That is not a rate. The crude divorce rate is the actual number of divorces per 1,000 people in a population. According to focusonthefamily.com, the crude divorce rate is currently 3.6 divorces for every 1,000 people in the US, while the age-adjusted crude divorce is currently 13 divorces for every 1,000 people age 15 and older. According to CDC, Centers for Disease Control, the divorce rate in the United States is 3.2%, per 1,000 people, which is not significantly different from the Focus on the Family figure of 3.6. According to focusonthefamily.com, marriage rate in the US is also declining, indicating both marriage and divorce are out of reach for certain segments of the population. Here is the league table of the top 10 countries with the highest divorce rates in the world, according to focusonthefamily.com. 1, in the first place, is Belgium. 2, Portugal. 3, Hungary. 4, Czech Republic. 5, Spain. 6, Luxembourg. 7, Estonia. 8, Cuba. 9, France. 10, USA. From these lists, it's clear love is no respecter of wealth. Otherwise, why would some of the wealthiest countries on earth have the highest divorce rates? USA, France, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Luxembourg. Why? The rest of the countries on the list are not poor countries either, except perhaps Cuba, which we can categorize as a middle-income country in its own right. Why, therefore, is so much unhappiness, bitterness, and gloom in marriage? A brief advert about myself. Hi, I'm Paul Uduk. After 25 years in the banking industry, I said goodbye to banking and founded Vision and Talent International Training Group and began a new career as a training consultant in 2010. Today, we work with some of Nigeria's biggest financial institutions, manufacturing and oil and gas companies, some of them Fortune 500. In 2015, I founded Book Writing Clinic, BWC, to help aspiring authors tell the world their stories and make their dreams of becoming published authors a reality. In 2020, I founded IBMC, where I teach business people and aspiring online entrepreneurs how to set up their online businesses the right way. Altogether, over 700 candidates have registered for BWC and IBMC. It's now your turn to register. I'm inviting you to register. Go to my website, pauluduk.com, and register. Now, back to the episode. Impact of divorce on children. When a marriage is going out of whack, the children are always the first to notice. Accordingly, some couples cling on to toxic unions for the sake of the children. Here are the impacts of divorce on children according to FocusOnTheFamily.com. 1. 77% of divorced individuals said their children were negatively affected by their divorce. 2. 28% of children living with one divorced parent are living in poverty. 3. 28% of divorced parents are not as close to their fathers after the divorce. I check that again. 28% of children of divorced parents are not as close to their fathers after the divorce. Children of divorce are more likely to do poorly in school and drop out. 5. Children of divorce have more psychological and behavioral issues, and 25% of them detach from family. Untying the knots. Some divorces end amicably. For instance, there was no visible rancor when Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife, Mackenzie, parted ways. Some divorces involve a psychological fight to the finish, like the one between the then Prince Charles and Princess Diana. In all, most divorces end in acrimony, with couples in 80% of the time engaging lawyers to plead their cases. According to FocusOnTheFamily.com, after untying the knots, bizarrely, 5% of divorced people still wear their wedding rings, and 24% keep them but don't wear them. Generally, divorce is costly for a woman. According to the same FocusOnTheFamily.com, 30% of divorced women earn between $25,000 to $50,000, about a third what their ex-spouse earns. Why wedding costs so much, or why weddings cost so much? Weddings, especially in underdeveloped countries such as Nigeria, Ghana, Liberia, cost a fortune. Partners borrow from friends, family members, and their bank to make their wedding grander than the last one they attended. Ask a couple why they spend so much. They will tell you wedding happens once in a lifetime. This, of course, is a lie. As we see from the high divorce rates. I take that again. This, of course, is a lie, as we see from the high divorce rates. In most instances, women insist their sweetheart, meaning would-be husband, don't disgrace them by staging a low-key wedding. Most men oblige because of societal pressure of being thought of as poor. In recent times, Nigerians have copied every aspect of middle-income American wedding, with brides, women, and groomsmen adorning designer gowns and double-breasted suits, and staging bridal trends as long as River Niger. The high point of every high society wedding in Nigeria is a special feature in Ovation magazine that goes for upwards of 5 million naira, or for a little lower in Global Excellence magazine. I'm talking about as yesterday. Altogether, a white wedding can cost upward of 10 million at the lower level and 20 million the middle end. High society weddings are in a class of their own. The cost covers wedding gown, suits, dress for bridesmaids and best men, bridal train, food, drinks, hall hire, decoration, band, wedding brochure, gift items, tickets for both grooms and bride's families, to mention the key items. In some African cultures, after wedding, the bride's family must properly settle the new bride in her husband's home. This is yet another big chunk of expense. High-end weddings, as I said, are in a class of their own, and the cost may include hiring top-end hotel for some specially invited guests. For high-end wedding, the couple invariably will disappear to an exotic location for 2 weeks to 1 month on honeymoon. Another big ticket expense. The scandalous spending on weddings, needless to say, is not peculiar to underdeveloped countries like Nigeria, once awash with petrodollars. Though that era has long receded, habits die hard. The number one country where weddings, where people spend excessively on wedding, is God's own country, the USA. According to CNBC, quoting the XO Group, the average cost of wedding in the United States is at least $33,000. The online business strategist and self-made millionaire, Ramit Sethi, insists you should spend as much as you can afford on your wedding because it's your special day. The operative phrase here is as much as you can afford. Ramit, who is the author of the New York Times best-selling book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, said he started saving for his wedding at the age of 24, when he didn't even have a girlfriend. He got married at the age of 36. That's the way of the strategist. Ramit shared his story on CNBC. The logical question then is, if a couple spends so much on their special day, why don't they do everything within their power to make their marriage work? In this last segment of the episode, I turn to how you can make your marriage a success, enjoy happiness and abundance. How to achieve success, enjoy happiness and abundance in marriage. This is a true story. Years back, myself and my wife became friends with Ochumba Salami, really not his real name. We attended the same church. From his looks, he was a brilliant and handsome man in his heydays. Even at the age of about 60, he was still looking slim, athletic, and dignified. His wife also attended the same church. They are communion receiving Catholics. Along the line, Ochumba Salami became very close to my wife, a lawyer by profession. Indeed, he used to come to our home. With time, I learned that the man was having marital problems with his wife and wanted my wife's help. Indeed, his wife had driven him out of their home, a house that, according to him, he built. The wife was staying alone in the family house. The bitterness in the marriage, according to the wife, was that when Salami had money, he was enjoying life with other women. It appears the man had lost his job years before we met him, while the wife was now the family's main breadwinner. My wife did her best to reconcile the couple. From what I later learned the parish priest was also involved in the reconciliation effort, but had met a brick wall on the part of the wife. She would not accept any reconciliation. They apparently reached a point of no return in the relationship. Ironically, both were still attending church. Whether they were receiving Holy Communion, I can't be sure. To cut a long story short, one day in a somber mood, my wife informed me Ochumba Salami had died. She'd read about Salami's death in the church bulletin. Salami and the wife had been married for over 30 years. The wife didn't care what could have gone so disastrously wrong in the marriage. Despite attempts by psychologists, behavioral scientists, and behaviorists to design and articulate personality archetypes using personality assessment instruments such as Myers-Briggs, DISC, explanatory styles, path elements profile, and others, it's almost impossible to read a human being. Shakespeare wrote in Macbeth, "There is no art to find the mind's construction in the face." What you see is not what you get when it comes to human behavior. The iceberg principle applies. What you see is the tip. Humans are as different as the galaxies in the sky. So, instead of talking about success, happiness, and abundance separately, I've meshed the three notions as they greatly overlap. There can be no happiness and abundance without success. Were King Solomon the wisest man God ever created to be alive, I would have approached him with the question, how do you achieve success, happiness, and abundance in marriage? Alas, Solomon is not here So it falls on me to provide the answer. This is what you must know. First and foremost, there's no perfect man and there's no perfect woman. To write this section, I turned to a group of friends that have been married for 30 years and above to give me their take, and these are the factors they readily shared. Number 1, understanding. 2, patience. 3, tolerance. 4, love. 5, abundance. 6, acceptance. 7, friendship. 8, freedom. 9, fear of God. 10, dependability. 11, trustworthiness. 12, good financial management. 13, mutual love and respect. 14, good sources of income. Good parents-in-law. Number 15, 16, feeling emotional needs. 7, godly children. 18, good social relationships. According to one of the contributors, research has shown that you can find happiness only in marriage. The website sciencedirect.com, citing several research studies, lists the factors for a successful marriage as follows. 1, successful couples trust and consult each other. 2, are honest. 3, believe in God. 4, make decisions together. 5, are committed to each other. 6, have friendly relationship. The research involved 300 self-described happy couples. The study concluded that traditional couples and non-traditional couples differed only in the procedures of family management. The leading wedding service provider in Las Vegas, the littlevegaschapel.com, lists the following 6 factors as the topmost for happiness in marriage. 1, strong communication. 2, spend alone time together. 3, spend time apart. 4, have an open mind. 5, stipulate roles. 6, forgiving and understanding. A study conducted in Iran, which I would surmise also applies to the majority of other Muslim countries, concluded that the key determinants of a success and satisfaction in marriage included 1, sexual and interpersonal factors. 2, communication and interaction factors. 3, mental factors. The study concluded that in mate selection, it is necessary to note various criteria, including religious matters, moral, mental, health, communication skills, and sexual factors, and action through education, counseling, and treatment if there is a problem. Dr. Joanna Ostman, a licensed mental health counselor, writing in marriage.com, identifies relationship communication as the number 1 factor for a feeling of abundance in marriage. According to her, relationship communication is the cornerstone of all abundance. A non-abundant relationship, is the cornerstone of all abundant or non-abundant relationships. When communication is effective and efficient, the relationship thrives, i.e., sex, money, parenting, family, etc. However, when communication is problematic, the relationship dives. In order to avoid a relationship dive, it is essential to avoid selfishness and assumptions, which are the 2 primary driving forces of communication problems. Robert Ferguson, writing in fergusonvalues.com, describes abundance as a differentiating factor. He says abundance means an overflowing fullness, more than adequate quantity or supply. He goes on to say abundance can mean overflowing with love, a great quantity of grace, an endless supply of hope. Ferguson nails it when he states, the problem is that most people associate abundance with having lots of money or great financial wealth, but that's just one form of abundance. He goes on to say, what about possessing an abundance of love, hope, or passion? Abundance can be both tangible and intangible. Unfortunately, many couples are living in marital poverty every day, according to Ferguson. He catalogs the following symptoms of marital poverty. 1. A husband who feels disrespected and empty. 2. A wife who feels unloved and alone. 3. A husband who feels unappreciated. 4. A wife who feels no one listens to her. 5. A husband or wife who has lost his or her passion for life. 6. A husband or wife who can't forgive. There is the apocryphal story of two young lads who decided to test a wise old man to confirm if the man was indeed wise. With a bird in a bag, they approached the wise man and asked him to confirm if the bird in the bag was alive or dead. Their plan was to squeeze the bird dead if the wise man said the bird was alive, and to bring it out alive if the wise man said the bird was dead. The wise man, according to legend, responded, the fate of the bird is in your own hands. So, the fate of your marriage is in your own hands. As you contemplate whether to tie the knot or to remain in your marriage or abandon the boat altogether, know your fate is in your own hands. I have no answer, but you can request my 51 golden questions, trademark, on success, happiness, and abundance in marriage by email to paul@pauluduk.com or via WhatsApp message to the number 0916 652 45851. 0916 524 5851. Once again, 0916 524 5851. If you are outside Nigeria, the code to use is +234. And remember, you don't have to use the 0. What you need to do right now. In some cultures, example, American, marriage is seen mostly as transactional. That's why couples go all out to craft perfect prenuptial agreements so that anytime they want to bail out of the marriage, their finances remain intact. Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the US, tells whoever cares to listen to get a prenuptial agreement before marriage. He knows because he has been married 3 times and paid $25 million to his first wife, Ivana, as part of their divorce settlement. Trump speaks about prenuptial agreements in all his books. In most of Africa, however, marriage is between families and not necessarily between the wedded individuals. In this regard, the traditional marriage is more sacred than the white wedding, which is merely a blessing of the marriage. This helps in ensuring longevity of marriages to an extent, every other thing being equal. Marriage is not like jumping into a bus at one station and jumping out at the next station. It's for good. If you don't believe it's for good, then don't marry to save yourself from the pain, headache, and feeling of loss associated with divorce. Search long and hard before you select a partner. Ideally, let it be the person you love and ready to die for. Dan Sullivan, the business strategist and the founder of Strategic Coach, has a quote that goes, "Our eyes only see and our ears only hear what our brain is looking for." Looking for your ideal partner, look for your ideal partner with a clear brain. It will be like finding a pin in a haystack. And when you do, your eyes and ears will alert you, and you will have a successful marriage full of happiness and abundance. My top 3 recommended books on marriage. 1. Marriage, A History by Sivani Kuntz. 2. Anatomy of Love by Helen Fisher. 3. The Marriage Go Round by Andrew J. Chelin. This is the end of the episode. I believe this episode has educated you on the intricacies of marriage. The secret to love, happiness, and abundance in marriage is to marry the person you truly love. To find that person can be like finding a pin in a haystack. Look hard. Keep looking, and when you find your perfect love, hold tight to the person as the apple of your eye. There lies happiness and abundance. Subscribe to the channel if you find it valuable. Until the next episode. Bye for now.